So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to run and scream together in the box. Now it's time to say goodbye. Sayonara, Dale. Goodbye, good day, good evening, good afternoon. What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I am your hostess doing the extreme mostest, Kivanchi, and we are here with, from season 3, episode 5, The Light of Day. A lovely, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day for me. Maybe not for the people of Fromville, but you know, it is what it is. Things are escalating. Okay, I love that the names of these episodes are like completely juxtaposed against everything that's happening. And one of the themes of the season, honestly, the main theme of the season is false hope. So to have these beautiful titles, and if you didn't really know the show, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool, this is gonna be nice, this is gonna be cute. And then it's nothing but terror happening the entire time. I love that. It could be, you know, honestly, I'll just say it. My favorite character of the entire series, the monsters. Like, it is what it is. I'm on the monster side. I would love to be hired as a monster, but I want to be one of the call girls. I want to be on the phone calling Jim every day. I want to be clocked in the morning time so that I can sleep at night, and then all of the homies can do their terrorizing at night. But I want to do my terrorizing in the daytime. Like, that's who I want to be. So let's go over some things that happened previously that they want us to just kind of focus on and keep in the back of our minds for the episode. So we have Ethan calling Julie out on how she's been acting different and feeling different ever since her eyes went white and she was trapped. Rightfully so, because honestly, Ethan is the only one who's really taken an active approach and trying to talk and like get people to talk about what's wrong and calling out people's differences. And even though he's a kid, kids understand a lot. He knows how she is and he knows that she's different, so I really love that. Elgin finally admitted to being haunted to Tilly by the lady in the kimono. Henry was telling Tab about the original bottle tree, and of course we know how that ended up, and they're all back in Fromville now. Nikki got killed because of the officer Acosta, and Fatima decided that it was a great idea to go and eat her dead body while waiting in the room. Donna has a breakdown, but we've seen this coming. Donna's breakdown has been pending since they started trying to get like radio signal and everything when Jim first started getting taunted by the town. And then of course, as y'all know, Randall's ass was left on the ambulance, splayed, displayed, and mauled for all of the colony house in the town to see. So where are we now? All right, I'm just gonna preface this. This is not gonna be like a one-to-one recap as I kind of did before. Certain things are happening and there's certain things that I'm very interested in that I'm going to focus on, while other things that I feel are in the background or a little bit of lesser concern for me now. I'm gonna just kind of touch on those as I give my predictions and everything at the end. So moving forward, I'm just gonna focus on like the things that I think should be focused on, while, you know, keeping an air of mystery, you know, just in case you didn't see it and this makes you want to see it. And then you still have some cute little surprises throughout the episode. Now, before diving into the today of things, I just want to say that I am currently sipping on Sable Bourbon. This is not sponsored, but I'm just going to put this out into the universe. Sable Bourbon, you will be a proud sponsor of So There's That podcast in the future. I'm putting it out there. Cheers to it. It's gonna happen. I'm putting it there. And now that it's there, I can go ahead and do what I do. So what are we up to, guys? Well, it's the morning time. Christy, Jade, and Kenny return, and they kind of looking at like the ambulance, and they're like, what the hell happened last night? And Boyd goes to tell him, look, we don't have the full explanation yet, but Tabitha is back. And they're just like, what? So Christy is taken by Marielle because, you know, her ankle got trapped in a bear trap, but they reset it and everything like that. And so as she's walking off, you know, Boyd's like, where's the food? And he's like, Dale and them are going to be coming back with the food. We got, you know, hold up out there. And Jade is, you know, getting a little bit more information about like Tab and things that happen when he ends up taking off towards Tabitha's house. Back at Colony House, Donna was talking to Henry about meeting Victor, and, you know, he's nervous. He hasn't seen him in 40 years, and Donna's just, you know, like telling him, you know, he is still kind of like a child, but Victor is a light and he's doing well considering the circumstances. So, you know what? Let me help you and, you know, we'll get presentable. Victor is afraid and he is nervous and there's a lot of things going on. So Donna is just doing all that she can to just help him prepare for his first meeting with his son. Meanwhile, Sara and Victor are still together and they're trekking across it, and Sarah's like, I thought we were going down to the tunnels. So Victor's like, we are going to the tunnels, but we need to get some supplies so that we don't get lost. Now, we know Victor has the mind of a child, so you can pretty much imagine what the supplies might be. But as we have seen, Victor only appears to be in like planet make-believe, but everything that he has a purpose and has a meaning. How else was he able to survive on his own for that long? So they walk into Catalina's house and they see like all the blood on the living room floor, the couch and everything like that. And Sarah's like, who died? And that's when they're told that, you know, Nikki died and Randall was seriously hurt. Again, everybody, Donna was, you know, pleasant, but everybody else is still kind of treating Sara like some pariah. So she just decides that she's going to wait outside. Victor is getting ready to go through the house and go to his room to get the items and stuff that he needs when Donna tells him that his father came back with Tabitha. Victor's not really trying to hear this. This is a traumatic thing. We're talking about a man who everybody was obliterated and he lived on his own. A dead boy was his friend. You have to understand that 40 years of hope would be shattered for someone like him. To not even remember his own sister, you can imagine that he probably forgot even his own dad. So he didn't really take that news very well and he bolts out the door. Sarah's running behind him. She's like, Victor, like, what's up? Like, did you get the stuff? You was only in there for like 60 seconds. And he's like, look, apparently my dad is back, but I need some time to think. Like, we'll get the supplies later. I can't do this right now. I need to be alone. And you know, that's relatable. Tabitha is at home talking to her kids about the whole situation, and she tells them that she actually did speak to grandma and how she thought it was just a town playing a trick on her, but she's realizing now that she was actually out. And Julie's like, this is not making no sense. Like, it's not making no sense that you were let out, but you know, Jim is, you know, the most important thing is that she's back and she's okay. He's pouring tea and pretending that everything is fine and that none of the things that happened around them actually happened. Still very much in denial when Jade bursts through the door and is talking to Tabitha about these trees, the bottles and the things and everything that was in it. He's like, we need to go back. And Jim's like, oh no, wait a minute, who you think? And she's like, calm down. And so was I, because I'm like, Jim, you are a terrible husband and you are a terrible father. This is not it. So then Jim's like, well, I went to the tree, nothing's there, you know. And he's like, okay, but there's a whole bunch of bottles, there's some things there. And he's kind of ignoring Jim, because honestly, Jim, this is a moot point. And he's insignificant to the plot, to be honest. So Tab and Jade are just kind of talking when Jim is like, well, it's just slips of paper inside the bottle. There's nothing special there. And Jade is like, and you didn't think to fucking tell anybody. And now it's like, okay, we're getting to a point where we're calling out the fact that nobody's communicating. But more importantly, we're getting to the point where Jim is truly the main person living in make-believe. The fact that you have not accepted these things and you just want to live in this bubble in your house with your kids without acknowledging your daughter's experience, without acknowledging your wife's experience, without acknowledging your son's own experiences, because you're in denial about the way that the town is affecting you. Like, this is getting ridiculous. I need Jim to get sacrificed. Put him in the woods, y'all. Put him in the woods. But honestly, I feel like even if they did put him in the woods, the monsters wouldn't even do nothing with him. Wouldn't even do nothing with him. That's what I would do. If I was a monster that came out at night, I would walk up to Jim and I would show my face and my teeth and do all this other stuff, and I would leave his ass out there. And every morning they would find Jim out there still tied to a tree. Even the monsters don't want you. I'm over it. Goodbye. Good day. Tabitha's like, look, I need to go down to this town hall meeting or whatever. And Jade's like, that's literally gonna be a waste of your time. Like, let's just go. But she decides that she wants to entertain this. Now, at this point, and I know a lot of people on Twitter was like, when is everybody gonna get together? Like, they need to have some type of meeting and blah, blah, blah. So we are gonna have a meeting. But honestly, having a meeting at this point, you can already know, like, it's not gonna be productive because something very major happened. Somebody got out and they're back. So all it's gonna be is a bunch of people's fears, and it's gonna be chaotic. And with everything that just happened with Randall, and of course this is orchestrated beautifully by the town itself, it's meant to cause chaos and disruption. And I said this a couple of episodes ago, I think episode 2, where I said the monsters are talking about breaking Boyd, but they're not breaking Boyd. They're breaking the town, and they're breaking the trust that the people there have in Boyd's leadership. And if they can get Boyd to really be alone, then they have everyone exactly where they need them to be. You don't need to break Boyd. They know that they can't break Boyd. But a leader is not a leader if nobody's following him. And so it's a form of isolation, and they're breaking it down on a very foundational level, which is very smart of the monsters. Love it, and this is why they're #1 in my book. So we're back at the makeshift hospital, and Kenny is talking to Boyd, and he finally asks, why would the monsters do this to Randall? Why not kill him, right? We get why they didn't kill Boyd when they made him watch Mama Chen die. But Kenny's really like, why not kill Randall? And Boyd tells him, they want us to see Randall in the daytime. We walk around here all day and we get to pretend that everything is okay and that the monsters only come out at night. And by having Randall on display, we don't get to pretend anymore, because every time we look at him, we are reminded that the monsters are real and they control us at all hours of the day, whenever and wherever they want to. Randall is in there having some nightmares and probably in a whole heap of some pain. But Mari kicks out Kenny and Boyd, especially Boyd, because Randall is, I won't say he's rightfully upset. I don't know what you expected Boyd to do when it came between getting you or letting all of them die. Nobody would have made that choice. So she's like, look, it's only going to aggravate him. Y'all need to go to the town hall anyway. Like, they need y'all there. They need your presence there. It's getting ready to start. And she does take this moment not to tell Boyd that he's going to make it matters worse, but it's one, it's a factual statement, but two, this is one of those rare moments that you see Marielle be soft and kind and kind of speak kindness into Boyd and let him know, like, Randall might be mad and people might be questioning you, but at the end of the day, they absolutely need you. Regardless of what they feel, regardless of what they think, they need you. And so you need to go there and be the leader that you've been this entire time while trying to keep everybody alive. And I really appreciated that. After Victor ran out, Donna goes back up to Henry and they're in Victor's room and she's just showing him around. And Henry is having a lot of guilt. And he starts to tell her how after a while he just assumed that they were dead. And he plummeted into drinking. And he asked, you know, what type of father am I to just give up on the whole family? And Donna just allows him this space to grieve and to openly speak about everything that he lost and question everything that he may gain now that he's back in Victor's life. But it's also not that easy for Victor either, because Victor can't even remember his life before that place. And you know, Sara is actually the friend that Victor needs, and I really loved that he went to her house and they're kind of bonding through this in the first place, because you finally see Victor through knowing now that his dad is back, you get to see Victor in a space of like an adult mind for a moment, because he tells Sara he's looking for the boy that he lost. What is he going to think when he sees the man that is in front of him? I am not that person anymore. And Sara tells him it's okay that you're this person and that you're scared. And you know what? It may go to shit. This meeting may be terrible for the both of you. But do it, because it also may be the thing that the both of you need. You're scared, he's scared. So the least that you can do is be scared together. And so you see Henry leaning on Donna and you see Victor leaning on Sara, and at this point they haven't even been around each other. So I thought it was just very beautiful to include that within the chaos, especially when conspiracy theorists like myself, we believe that all of this is important. And as we've seen with these monsters, every single thing is happening not by chance and definitely not by coincidence. So we at the town hall, y'all. Oh my God. My notes is just a lot of exclamations, a lot of bold font, lots of Dale's shut up. He said this thing. So we're there and Tab is not there yet. So Boyd's like trying to get everybody to calm down, this, that, and the third, just trying to make sure everything is good. And Dale says something to the effect of, actually it's not even to an effect, I wrote it down. I feel like if you had a clue about anything, she would be the one talking. Really, Dale? Really? It's always the loudest person in the room who's the dumbest fucking person in the room. And they try to present themselves as if they're smart or that they're intelligent simply because they are loud. So Tab and Jim finally show up and she walking through the door and Jim is holding on to her like she just finished a round of chemo or something. Like, she could stand up on her own 2 feet, sir. We get it. You want to look like a concerned husband, but like, come on, bro. Come on. Stop it. Anyway, back at Colony House, Elgin almost clocked the hell out of Julie because she went up in there looking for some weed and she found it, but you know, he's been seeing things and people and stuff like that. So they're sitting at the kitchen table and they lighten it up, and this is a cute little interaction too. We're actually getting more cast and ensemble interacting with each other in a way, in some one-on-one ways that we haven't really seen in the season or previous seasons. So I really, really like this. And Julie is telling him about everything and he's telling her about everything too. And she talks about how, you know, it's not even just the screams and stuff that she's hearing, but she has a physical reaction to it even when she's awake, as if she's still back in that place. And the only thing that drowns it out is when she gets high. And they go on to talk about, you know, her mom coming back, and he asks her if she's even talked to her parents about everything that she's experiencing. And he asks her, you know, what do you think all of this means? Because at this point, you know, they're having this existential conversation. But in a very sobering moment, Julie says she doesn't think it means anything. All it's showing is that the town let her out to make people think that, how do I put this? The town let her out and brought her back in like a boomerang, just so that they can taunt over people that there's hope, that there's a way out. But she was never going to get out. They were always going to bring her back. And this will be used as an example to show that they control everything, and not a single fucking thing here is going to be done. And we're never leaving. And it's like, when you put it all together and just get rid of this picture in the background, or this thing, or this sign, or this whatever in the background, that's really like the whole of it. They're going to think her coming back is going to cause chaos, because now people are going to believe that they can leave. But all it's going to do is lead to more death and more destruction. How do we know that the people are going to use this? Well, let's go back to the diner to have this stupid ass town hall, right? So everybody is in there basically being like, you got out, so you didn't tell the police about us, like you could have did something and all this other stuff. And Victor's dad is like, well, I didn't believe her. And they're like, well, eventually you did. Eventually you did. And then even Acosta had to pipe up and was like, girl, I also came back too, and I didn't believe shit until I saw it with my own two eyes. Like, what are y'all talking about? So it's just a lot of chaos and a lot of blame going towards Tabitha's way. Now, this is the only moment I will give to Jim. Jim stood in front of her and was like, okay, then what the fuck would y'all have done? Whole room gets silent. Y'all was just talking. You just had so much to say. What would you have done? Tell me. And then Dale, well, I wouldn't have gone to a park. I know that much. And Tab was like, you know what? I don't have to take none of this shit. I don't have to take none of this shit. I'm leaving. So she leaves, and Boyd is still trying to like get everybody to calm down when here goes Fatima. Here goes Fatima, adding fuel to this fire and standing up and trying to call out Boyd, and like everybody else, basically as if he's trying to keep them there and that he also doesn't want to leave. And she basically being like, this some bullshit, but I'm just sitting over here like, calm down, Hannibal Lecter. Calm down. Because you got one of the biggest secrets in the town, but you want to sit over here and talk about what you would and would not do and what you think Boyd should and should not do. And then here go Ellis backing her up. You're undermining your father and the leader in front of everybody around you. And so then Dale was like, you know what, fuck all this. I'm going to go to the tree. If she got out there with a tree, then we all good. And Boyd is like, this is not how this works. I went through one of them trees. And you know where I ended up? Right the fuck back here. And Kenny steps up to defend Boyd, and he was like, and that's not even how she got out. It was a lighthouse. So here go Dale. Well, I'm about to go through this tree, and I'm not about to sit here and, you know, I'll see y'all on the other side or whatever, because I'm not about to take this and all this other crap. So, of course, everybody's having, like, mumblings and grumblings of the same sentiment. So Boyd leaves, because ain't nobody about to take this disrespect. So Boyd walks out, and here go Ellis running up the street trying to call him. And so Boyd turns around. What the fuck was that? And now Ellis want to halt in his heels. He's like, you sit up in there adding fuel to the fire. You and Fatima of all people. So Ellis was like, well, we need to be doing something and we need to be out there in the charge or whatever. So he turns him around. Pick one in. Pick one. You tell me which of the motley fucking crew standing over there you gonna send on a fucking mission. As if you can do better than me. As if I'm not trying to keep them safe. And honestly, yes. Done. Boyd needs to be fed up. Boyd needs to stop trying to coddle their feelings. He needs to stop trying to sit up here and be like this voice of reason. I really wish Boyd went the fuck off in that diner. Because everybody is sitting up in there talking and talking and talking. But when Jim asked them, what would y'all have done? You ain't got shit to say. How would you lead? You ain't got shit to say. You constantly opening your mouth to criticize, but when it's put back on you to come up with a solution, any solution, every single one of you motherfuckers is silent. Oh, so now we don't know how to talk. Oh, okay. Fuck out of here. And basically that's what Boyd told Ellis and left his dumb ass standing there looking stupid. Looking stupid. Go back to your wife and go figure out what's going on with her. Go figure out why she was able to eat a whole fucking dead person while under the same roof as you. Go do that. Back at the house, Tab rolled up in there and was like, Jade, get your coat, let's go. And here go Jim. What are you doing? You just got back here. And she was like, look, I owe them some answers. I don't even have the answers and I need to figure it out. This whole town hall was so fucking stupid. I'm not gonna go in the tree, but we need to go figure out what's in these bottles and I need to help put this information together so we can figure out what to do. Now, this is very smart. Two people who have information trying to share information to figure out what's going on. So Jim pulls her off to the side and he was like, you need to be thinking about your kids and do all this other stuff. And honestly, fathers who don't want to take responsibility in their own fatherhood do this thing to try to guilt the mom in using the kids against her. I'm sorry. This isn't gonna work. This tactic is not gonna work. Well, Ethan's not coming with you. Okay. But I'm still leaving. So get the fuck out of my face. Jade, get your coat. Let's go. Boyd is at the post office minding his business when Acosta comes in there with her little guilty feelings and she's thanking him for sticking up for her in the diner. And she actually, now I don't like her, but she actually has a plan to help calm the nerves of the people while also trying to figure out the solution of how to get out here. Let's give them a project to work on while we work on the bigger issue. If everybody's focused on what we're focused on and it basically becomes like too many too many chiefs, not enough Indians. So we need, you know, too many chefs in the kitchen or something like that. We need some order cooks in the background working on their own individual projects and things that can calm their minds while whoever is in charge of this along with you can figure out the bigger picture of how to get out. And Boyd, this was misplaced, but Boyd is mad and he takes all of it out on her. Now, what he said was factual. How he said it was uncalled for. He's like, you know, you killed somebody. He's like, first off, you ain't got no friend in me. We're not buddies. We're not homeboys, okay? You ain't got a friend in me. You ain't got a friend in me. It's his whole energy. You kill somebody. Left two people for dead in the back of the ambulance, one of which was cuffed up. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I would have ran too, you know, this, that, and the third. I still stand by, especially as a first responder. I still stand by the fact that when she saw what was going on, she should have taken 5 seconds. Unlock the handcuff and run. And she panicked under duress and just took off. And, you know, people are like, oh, well, I would have panicked too. Like, oh, you wouldn't have done any of those things. Like, listen, as a first responder, as somebody who has responded to people actively dying in front of them, as somebody who has responded to people dead in front of them, you have to rely on your training. There's this zone that you get into that shuts down all that fear. And the zone that you go into is relying on your training. And when you go into that zone, you actually move a lot faster than when you panic. And you make a lot better decisions. So what I have an issue with is when she left them is the fact that she just abandoned all that she stood for. And that's also how I knew like she must be a new cop, because it's not in her the way that it should have been in her. She was cocky and all this other stuff in the back of the ambulance, which I already didn't like. But when shit hit the fan and you're supposed to lean on protecting and serving the people, you left them. Now, the shot, it was an accident. You should not have been shooting randomly. You see lights on in this building and you're just blindly shooting. But I'll give her that. But to leave injured people in the back of the ambulance, I don't agree. So it is what it is. I don't agree. She shouldn't have did it. She was fucked up for that. And for me, regardless of her personality, I just don't know how she will redeem herself from such a colossal mistake, because her leaving them led to Boyd having to go out there, which led to Randall having to go get a toolbox, which led to Randall getting caught by the monsters. That decision has a multitude of consequences behind it. So I'm not in the mind to forgive her for that at this moment, because of the entire domino effect that happened immediately after. So Fatima was doing all that rah-rah up in the post office on her high horse. Then she goes and sneaks off to the greenhouse to get her garbage stash when Ellis walks in on her and basically catches her doing something that he doesn't really understand. So she finally confesses that she's been eating garbage and dead and rotted food, and she tells him that she thinks that there's something wrong with the baby. So they got that little moment, but honestly, I don't even care about them. Don't. At this moment, at this juncture, they can get the chop. I'm over it. I don't care what their role is essential to the larger picture. I don't care. Get the chop. Because you over here, like, I get it. This is your wife. Y'all are wed. But all of that in the post office was uncalled for. You could have, even if Fatima did that, right? If you didn't want to be put between your dad and your wife, you should have just let her speak and then talk to your father afterwards to say that you agree with what your wife is saying. So now you showed everybody that there's a fracture in the foundation of your relationship. So yeah, loyalties are definitely getting tested in the monsters. Everything is working. Everything is going according to plan. So they're sleeping great in the daytime while they know that everybody in the town, there is no food, there is no water, there is no more house parties, there is no more sex, there is no more bell ringing and all this other stuff and sitting on the swings and kumbayaing. Y'all are stressed. It's working, man. And I love it. Ethan goes outside because, he gonna be Ethan about to Ethan, okay? And he sees Henry Dad's just looking up, staring at the sign. And so Ethan's like, what are you looking at? And he was like, well, I'm looking at this sign and it says motel, it says diner, it says pool. Now I've seen a diner and I've seen a pool. Where's the motel? And one has to sit and wonder and ponder like, that is true. Also, what I completely respect from Henry, which is what bothers me with Jim, Henry has accepted this whole thing and he's looking at things. One, he has fresh eyes and he's asking questions and noticing things that maybe nobody else has noticed because they've been living in this world of make-believe and false sense of security. So I really like that. So Ethan's like, I'm going to go feed the animals. You want to come walk and talk with me? And a lot of adults, when they get alone with Ethan, open up a lot to him. So they're talking about Victor and he's just talking about, how he's worried and he's asking Ethan how Victor is, and Ethan's telling him, how he is and stuff like that. But he tells Henry that he thinks Victor is very scared now. And Henry's like, what do you think he's afraid of? And he's like, I think he's afraid that I'm gonna die and that everybody else is gonna die because everybody that he loved has died here and he doesn't know anything else. And right as Henry's kind of pondering on that, Ethan sees Sara and Victor walking as well. And so Ethan points it out and Sara stops and she's, encouraging Victor to move forward and Ethan's encouraging Henry to move forward. And one of the sweetest moments happens and they just face each other and they're looking at each other and reacquainting each other, and they hug, and Victor just starts crying, and he says, I didn't know how to get back. And he's just saying, I didn't know how to get back. And I'm not even gonna lie, I almost cried too, because he forgot his whole family. Like, that is so sad. And yet he is the biggest key to them getting out of there, and he can't even remember. He can't even remember everything. So it's just like this moment of being reconnected with your old life. But maybe your old life is what you needed to figure out the way forward. While I do think the monsters let Tab out, I don't think they planned necessarily for Henry to come back with her. I don't think that they controlled that, is all I'm gonna say. Boyd is on the bus, and he's going through Randall's things, and it kind of just seems like he's just looking to calm his nerves and calm his brain and maybe get to know Randall a little bit more. When the bus driver gets on the bus, and, you know, she's like, what's up? And she was like, look, I apologize that I did not have your back in there. And honestly, I rolled my eyes, because I can't stand when people come after the fact in a one-on-one situation to apologize for not having your back, when what you should have done was, when you was in the room with everybody, ally and align yourself with me. As somebody who's always speaking up, I've been in this situation countless of times, and so I just didn't really like it. And even though her apology was sincere and very genuine, it just makes me side eye you, because you telling me that, you know, I'll be on your side next time. Okay, that's great. But I walked out of that diner alone. And that's not something that Boyd should easily forget, nor should he readily forgive that whole situation. Like, that whole thing was just messed up. And Boyd is isolated. Who do you go to? Donna breaking down. His son and daughter-in-law is against him. Everybody else is blaming him and acting like he don't want to go home. And you, when you had a moment to say something in the diner, you sat up there and said, okay, well, we all been through some things. You just got here. What have you been through? Like, I don't know. She was just very insensitive. She was just very insensitive, and I didn't like it. So nothing about this was ever going to, like, rock with me. Back at the tree, Jade and Tab are actually talking, and they're going through the papers, and they're trying to, you know, figure things out. And he's like, they could be dates, they could be years, it could be birthdays. I personally think that this may be like longitude and latitude numbers of where everybody is from. I don't know. But that was just the thought that I had when I was watching this episode. Like, I wonder if they put certain things together, it would be locations or like routes or like that people were driving in. I don't know. It's interesting. But he tells her about the symbols, and they both share like memories and thoughts about the kids. And he talks about when he was in the tunnels, he had like this vision of all the kids being chained to the slab, and they're all saying that word like Onkri or something like that. And then when he looked up, when he had been seeing this symbol, what he thought was a symbol were branches of a tree. So he's like, you know, everything seems like chaos until you start putting the puzzle pieces together. And I don't know what it is yet, but we need to put all of the pieces together in order to figure it out. There's no way that this is a coincidence, and there's no way that we are seeing the things in pieces. You have one side of this coin and I have the other side of this coin. Let's start like flipping them over and, you know, putting some things together. When Dale walks his dumb ass up with his backpack, and he's like, so this is a tree, huh? Well, while y'all are sitting here doing all of this, I'm gonna be sitting at home trying to figure out a way to rescue everybody, because that's what a smart person will do. And they're like, Dale, this ain't how this go. And he's like, well, somebody gotta try. So he goes through the tree and they're looking, obviously, you know, he goes through the tree. They don't see him immediately because the trees take you somewhere else. So on the bus, as you know, Boyd is still talking to the bus driver, everybody is screaming. So here we go. Boyd's like, what else is happening? So you see people around the pool and they are just screaming their heads off, and Boyd runs up and he's like, what? And there is Dale, still in the position that he climbed into the tree, infused inside the concrete of this empty, vacant pool. Everybody's gasping. Boyd is like slowly walking up, and all you can see is Dale's finger sticking out through the brick, a knee and part of a shoe, and part of his face, which is one eye, moving around frantically. And he is gasping for breath, most likely getting crushed by the concrete walls that is surrounding him. One of the ladies asked one of the dumbest fucking questions I've heard. Can you help him? Oh, now you want me to help? Because 10 minutes ago, every single one of you motherfuckers was up in that diner telling me how I wasn't a leader, how I didn't want to go home, how I was trying to keep y'all here. When I told your dumb ass that this is not how the trees work, y'all was all over there gassing Dale up, being like, well, we should all be lined up outside of the tree with our stuff trying to go home too. And now you want me to help him? Okay, lady, go get me a jackhammer. Go do something, be useful. Oh, you can't. Y'all sit up here and you complain over and over and over about my leadership, but then when something happens, when somebody is dying, when a monster is going through and they're showing us over and over again that they have control, you look to me for answers. You look to me and you asking some dumbass questions. Now, how about you go lean on everybody else that you was rallying around and colluding with against me to go figure it out? Go do that, Sharon. So Boyd walks up and he's like, okay. Like, you know, like, just, you know, Dale, just like eyes on me. And he's like, ooh, fuck. And I thought that was so funny. It's so black because he wants to go forward, but it looks disgusting. And it was such a real reaction of like, I want to run, but I have to stay. Like, cause who else gonna do it? Who else is gonna do it? Everybody's around the pool, but don't nobody wanna walk up to face the monster head on. Y'all wanna live in La La Land and y'all wanna live in make-believe, but when it's staring you right in the face, when the monsters brought your reality to your front fucking door, you shied away. And just as Boyd was getting ready to take out his gun to put Dale out of his misery, he uttered his last breath. At that moment, Donna runs up and she stops, and Liz Saunders, the actor that you are. I rewound this part 5 times. 1,000 emotions displayed on her face as she settled on a look with Boyd. And the only thing that final look said was destruction and defeat. So there's that from season 3, episode 5, the light of day, the halfway mark to finding out what the hell is going on. First and foremost, let's talk about what the hell is going on. I'm getting tired of every single one of y'all every week talking about we don't have any answers. If you're still saying that you don't have answers after this episode, you're just as dense as the characters in the show, and you should probably just stop watching. It's getting really annoying to see people want to get force-fed the plot in a single episode. Y'all whine for shows to last forever, but then when shows actually write beautiful scripts in order to last, in order to draw out storylines, you sit up here and complain. Shut up. Thank you. Now on to more positive things. I have so many thoughts and so many predictions. I don't even know where to begin. So I won't give all of them. So I'll just say this. I've been saying Fatima's baby belonged to the streets. That's the monster's baby. Like, it just is what it is. They gone now. Okay. So first and foremost, I do think the significance of the motel sign and a motel not being there is very important. I'm trying to go back into my brain and figure out where the building even would have been, and I don't know. So it makes me think that maybe Colony House was the motel, but if people lived there before them, maybe they just turned it into something else, because it's hella fucking rooms in the Colony House. So that's one thought. The other thought is there is a pool there, but there's no real, the Colony House is not necessarily attached to where the pool is, and in most motels there's a fence and then there's a pool. So did it like blow up? Did it disintegrate? Like, something happened. I don't know yet. That's just kind of like my thoughts on that. I do believe that Julie is right, but I also believe that Julie is wrong. And the thing that makes me think that Julie is wrong lies in the fact that she herself is running away from her own experience. I think there are answers that are within Julie that if she just speaks to her mom, because fuck her daddy, if she just speaks to her mom, she will see that yes, the monsters let her out and brought her back, but there is a way to fight this. But the monsters are betting on everybody being isolated and everybody not communicating. And so far, it's working. So we're not going to see the big picture if everybody's not talking to each other. So I do believe, I understand and I agree with her sentiment, but I do think that she also holds a key to them getting out. I really want Boyd to just take a week off and let them figure it out. Let's see what y'all do in my absence. Let's see what you do in the absence of my leadership. Because apparently y'all have the answers. I gotta sit up here and hold it all together while y'all freak out, and not a single one of you is giving me compassion. Not a single one of you is giving me grace, and I don't see a single fucking person volunteering to take my place. So I just want him to, go into his own la la land and let them do what they do. Because he's the only person who keeps Ethan in line. Jim don't ever seem to know where his kid's at. Like, ever. So we can start there. Ethan might end up being the first one dead if Boyd decides to just take even a day off and a night off. I'm getting so tired of these people. Like, I'm so tired of y'all. But I do think that the wrong people are convening together. But it is a start that people are actually starting to communicate. Even if it's just onesie twosies, people are actually starting to communicate the ways in which they're seeing things in ways that they can connect those dots. Again, like I've said, I need Ethan, I need Julie, I need Randall, I need Mari, I need Tabitha, I need Victor, Jade, Sara. They all have it. Elgin. They all have like a key to this. And they're never in the room. And so far, they've not all been in the same room together. And if they have been, nobody's saying a single thing. And we just can't afford their silence anymore. So that is going to wrap up today's episode. I can't believe we're at the halfway mark. I'm wondering if I should go live and do like a live reaction to the season 3 finale. Y'all tell me in the comments below. But if you like this and you're still rocking with me, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Again, comment in the comment box below. Thank you for everybody who have been commenting on all my videos. It's my favorite part of doing this, talking to y'all and just sharing theories and laughing and all these other things in the comment section. It means so much to me. You can also listen to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can follow me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, and you can follow me and all of my shenanigans over on Twitter at Kivanchi. So I'm about to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of my day and agonizingly wait until next Sunday for episode 6. And until then, I will catch y'all in the next episode.